This is the 411. Your host, Matt Mike.
And welcome to another edition of the 411. I'm your host, Matt Micah. It's been 10 years, a decade, since the Malice at the Palace, the Brawl at the Palace. I remember when I was watching that game, I remember where I was, and it was just a really sad moment for the NBA, a really ugly moment, a black eye on the NBA. I'm sure you all know where you were, if you recall that moment between the Pistons and the Pacers, and it was just an unfortunate series of events. If Ben Wallace and Ron Artest slugged it out between themselves, it would have calmed down pretty quickly. And that's just the type of player Ron Artest was. He's a bully. He was a rough rider. He was one of those guys that was going to get down and dirty for your team. And same with Ben Wallace. The entire Pistons team was like that. And they were Chauncey Billups, Ben Wallace. They were the elite team in the league, right then, head by Larry Brown. But Larry Brown was one of the coaches that he wanted to respect the game. It's a beautiful game. Respect it. Respect your opponents. Respect the fans. Respect the refs. Respect your teammates. But at the same time, that team was rugged, and it's Detroit basketball. You go back to the days. They were an ugly team. They're an ugly team. They're just not an ugly team as in a negative sense, but they were down and dirty. They were the nasty boys. They always were trying to get under your skin. They weren't afraid to get in a fight, and that's who they are. That's Detroit basketball to the finest. They bring passion to the game, and they bring enthusiasm to the game. They bring energy to the game, which is a beautiful thing. But you have to keep it on the court. You have to keep it against the opponent. I remember back in the day when Detroit basketball, the Detroit Pistons, they were the nasty boys, and they got in Larry Bird's face, the Celtics. They got in Michael Jordan and the Bulls' face, and they were just one of those teams that everyone hated. But as a fan, you hate them, but you love them at the same time because just as who they are. And that was the exact same team, exact same makeup. And it's just an unfortunate series of events. It spilled into the fans. Now we can see the impact it had on the game. The perception, the way fans and players interact nowadays during games. There's not that much smack talking anymore. There's not that much hatred towards the opponent teams. There's not that much bitterness. There's not that much home court advantage per se. With fans barking in opponents' ears because everyone's kind of took a step back since then, and they didn't want another incident like that. Also, David Stern, he made a lot of policies since then. The dress code for being for one, because a lot of fans, either that whole entire stereotype makeup with players being inner city poverty, growing up in the poverty, growing up in just poverty, inner city makeup, and they get stereotyped. And at the end of the day, some fans were looking at that saying, "I told you so," which is a shame. And David Stern stepped right in, implemented the dress code so athletes can be seen as athletes. They're making millions of dollars. They're on TV every single night, so they're not wearing casual clothes like everyone else. They're wearing suits and ties, and that was one of the things that got implemented right away. Also, the drinking policy, alcohol not being served later in the games, that got cut shorter. So a lot of things got affected, and a lot of things were the game of basketball and the NBA was impacted incredibly much, and it was unbelievable how much things have changed since that day. 10 minutes really changed the course of the NBA, and it was heading one route, and since that moment, it took an entirely different swing. And since then, you have fans coming back to the game, and I think the NBA is making steps forward to rebuild that connection between fans and the players. And David Stern has done an excellent job. And it's just an unfortunate series of events. What occurred that night, and stepping forward, you have the ambassador of the game of basketball right now, LeBron James, and of course Kobe Bryant. They're doing an excellent job reaching out to youths out there and establishing a mindset moving forward with the NBA. And it's been a great journey so far for the NBA. There's going to be more to improve on, obviously, like there is with any sport. The NFL, Major League Baseball with steroids, the NFL with a lot of cases right now, a lot of black guys surrounding Ray Rice, Adrian Peterson, and each league, they're always stepping forward, which is a great thing. So it's just I wanted to recap that. I remember where I was. I hope I'm sure you guys remember where you were as well. And it's just something to think about because it's crazy to think that it's been already a decade since that moment. So hopefully there won't be any incidents like that ever again between fans and players. But again, at the same time, unfortunately, if it just was handled between the two players, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm a New Yorker and I love hockey, and fighting is a part of the hockey culture. So if players have to kind of quarrel a little bit, you love that passion as a fan. You love that passion. You love that energy. You love that fight attitude between two players. Trying to grind it out to get their team a win. But unfortunately, it just spilled into the fans, and that's what caused such a black eye in the NBA for a little while. I'm Matt Mike on the 411. See you next time.